Hi, I'm Heather. Welcome to class. Today we're going to do a gentle, slow-paced class. Before we begin, if you find this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. We're going to start lying with the legs up the wall. No props underneath the pelvis, but we'll use a blanket underneath the head for support and a couple of bricks to offer support to the outer thighs. So you can have your bricks on either sides of your mat there, because we're going to start legs together up the wall, but eventually we're going to take the legs out wide. So make sure you've got the right size height blanket for your head, whether it's a 2-fold, 3-fold or 4-fold blanket, and come in really close to the wall so that you can lie legs up the wall, buttocks in touching the wall. If you find it hard to get the buttocks in touching the wall, start lying on your side and see if you can shimmy yourself in close enough to the wall here with the buttocks to the wall, and then take the legs up. So we'll start with the legs up straight, and as I said, use your blanket for support underneath the head and the neck. So legs are up the wall, they're together. You can see your feet. Rather than just letting the legs relax and roll away from each other, can you roll the inner thighs back to the wall? And can you bring the ankle bones to touch, the big toe bones to touch? And the inner feet are gently pressing up towards the ceiling, and the outer feet are peeling back down towards the outer hips. So we're not just being relaxed in the feet, we're being active in the feet. So even though we're doing a gentle class, we're still bringing some action into the body. Thighs are pressing back to the wall, feeling the broadening of the thighs there to the back of the wall, the broadening and the opening at the back of the knees. If you are tight in the hamstrings and you're finding that having the buttocks in close to the wall is causing the back of the pelvis or the buttock area to lift up, then you'll need to move away from the wall enough that you can have the back of the pelvis flat down on the floor. You feel how the lumbar spine can settle down, spinal muscles relax onto the floor. And while we're keeping the legs together, let's stretch the arms overhead. Now you might need to move that blanket up just a little bit so there's room for your shoulders and the top part of that upper arm bone as you stretch your arms up and overhead. So we'll interlock the fingers, straighten your elbows, stretch your arms all the way overhead. Press out through the knuckles, so stretching the skin on the palms. And squeeze the elbow tips in, but keep your back ribs broad to the floor. Notice if the spinal muscles, the spine or the back ribs want to pull up away from the floor when you take your arms overhead. See if you can keep them broad to the floor and go on pressing the thighs strongly into the wall so there is that elongation coming through the waist and the side body. From the waist all the way through the side ribs, the armpit chest. Now, bring the arms back over the body, swap the interlock of the fingers, opposite index finger coming on top. Press the palms up, straighten the elbows. Inhale, take your arms all the way overhead. You might find your upper arms come to rest on that blanket. Press out through the knuckles. Keep the elbow tips squeezing in so the arms are straight. The arms are active, legs are active. Pressing the thighs into the wall. Feeling the lower back long and broad. The abdomen lengthening, sides of the waist lengthening, sides of the chest lengthening. Inhale the arms back over the chest. Exhale as you release the arms. Rest the arms and the hands for a moment. Now we come to taking the legs out wide. So slide the heels away from each other, legs moving out and down the wall, and you go according to your capacity. And you can use your hands on the inner legs to encourage those legs out and down. The bricks are here for a couple of reasons. One is to measure whether one leg's going more willingly. For example, sometimes I see students doing this. I'm exaggerating a lot here, but one leg tends to go down more readily than the other. So just have an awareness here with the bricks. At whatever point the bricks, your legs meet the bricks, if they do at all. I know some people struggle here and the legs might be up higher. Perhaps you bring the bricks in closer to your upper thighs that way. The further out the bricks, the lower the legs go, the further out you can take the bricks. So then you can feel, you can make that judgment about whether the legs are moving evenly out to the sides. Now we want to keep the kneecaps and the toes running parallel to the floor. Yeah, watch that they're not rolling out and down towards the floor. So again, you can help with the bricks there wedged in. Perhaps that offers not just support for the legs, but also some guidance for the legs, that you're not letting the thighs externally rotate. They're simply adducting. So that means they're going out to the sides. Then you lengthen through the inner feet, the balls of the big toes lengthening away from the groins, and the balls of the little toes are peeling back towards the outer hips. So legs are active, feet are active. And now we'll take the arms overhead, we'll catch hold of the elbows. The arms are not as active as they were when we were stretching the arms with the fingers interlocked, but we're still bringing in an elongation through the waist and the sides of the chest. Take a moment here to observe your breath. Easy, steady breathing. Now swap the cross of the forearms. The fingers are wrapping around the edges of the elbows, and still you're pressing the thighs to the wall. And notice with the arms overhead, has it caused the lower back or the back rib cage to pull up away from the floor? Can you keep the spinal muscles broad on the floor, back ribs broad on the floor? Then you can remove or release the arms from overhead and use your hands to help bring the legs up. So the hands can hold the outer thighs, and as you bring the legs back upright, then bend the knees to the chest. Keep the feet together. The knees can be coming towards that hip width position, but no wider. Hold the legs there. Contain the legs with your hands. We're giving the inner thighs a little bit of a reprieve. They've been in a strong stretch and we're wanting to relax them now. We're going to stay on our back, but we're going to move away from the wall. So take your blanket further out from the wall and maneuver yourself away from the wall about your shin's length. So your feet are on the wall, your heels are on the wall about the height of your knees, and your thighs are coming parallel to the wall. Shins parallel to the floor. The head can be supported. We cross the right ankle over the left knee. So we're doing a simple cross-leg position with that right leg. So we've got the external rotation of the thigh. You can press with the right hand on the inner knee if that helps you with the external rotation. We're wanting to allow the gluteal muscles on this right side to stretch. Now, can you reach your hands, clasp the fingers behind the left knee, take the left foot off the wall to help you do that, and perhaps the right elbow can press against the inner right knee. So you're encouraging more stretch to the gluteal muscles on the right side. Keep the shoulder tips down. The feet are active. You're pressing through the inner feet, peeling the outer feet back. Then slowly let go the clasp of the fingers, left foot to the wall, right foot to the wall, and we'll swap. Cross your left ankle over the right knee, and you can press left hand to that inner left knee, encouraging the left thigh to externally rotate. Then as you're ready, you'll clasp the fingers behind the right knee. Take the right foot off the wall as you bring the right thigh closer to you, but you can use the left elbow against the inner left knee to keep the left knee pressing back away from the chest, which will add more stretch to the hip. Lengthen the inner feet away from the inner knees and peel the outer feet back towards the outer knees. Keep the shoulder tips down so the neck stays neutral. Steady breathing. Then you can bring the right foot back to the wall. You release the clasp of the fingers and step the left foot back to the wall. Rest the arms. And as you're ready, you can slowly roll to the side and come to sitting. We're going to sit in simple cross legs and we'll stretch forward. So particularly if your hips are tight, you'll need some height to sit on. I recommend a blanket underneath the buttocks. That's often very helpful. And we can have bricks. Now, you can stack your bricks up as high as you think that you need so that you can bring your forehead down to rest. If you can't stack the bricks high enough, you could potentially use a chair. Bring the chair in front of you so that you can put your forearms on the chair and rest your forehead on your forearms. Find out what height of brick is going to serve you so that when you come forward, the forehead doesn't go much lower than the breastbone. So feet are in line with the knees. They're contained within the width of your long mat. Forehead can come forward onto your brick, no lower than the sternum, and the arms stretch forward. So there's some action in the arms to help lengthen the sides of the chest forward, to help lengthen the sternum forward. Relaxing the hips, use your exhalations to relax through the hips and the groins. Slowly, let's come up and we'll swap the cross of the legs. Opposite shin in front. Again, the feet are in line with the knees. They're contained within the narrow width of the mat. And you come forward to your brick. Arms stretching forward so that you've got the capacity to lengthen the front body, lengthen the sides of the body. Keep your arms active, elbows straight. And as you're relaxing the hips, use your exhalations. Can you lengthen your exhalations to enhance that sense of letting go? And then slowly we'll come to sit up and just spend a moment sitting straight. You can rest your hands on the knees, spine lifted, crown of the head lifted. For a moment, feel free to close your eyes. Observe the residue of the pose that we were just in. Ideally, the nerves are feeling settled. You're feeling quiet and steady within. And then you can finish up with the practice. If you like practicing with me, I invite you to go to my website. I have an extensive video library there. There are numerous classes. There's over 370 classes there, and I'm adding to it every week. There are gentle classes, slow-paced classes. There are intermediate classes that are more dynamic and challenging, and there are therapeutic classes. There's a lot to choose from. You can start with a 7-day free trial, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. I'll put the link in the description box below. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me. For more in-depth teaching, check out the video library on my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. The link is in the description box below.